I digress. Let me talk to you about a story that, I can't believe that it dropped on Thanksgiving Day, especially when I find out that this was raised in the House of Commons at the Finance Committee almost 2 weeks ago. It was raised on September the 27th, which is actually, this Wednesday, it will be 2 weeks. And that is that the current government, Justin Trudeau and his Liberals, well, they really want to live up to their promise. We know what their promise is, right?
At the core of this government is a promise to support the middle class and those working hard to join it, to help small businesses succeed in an increasingly disrupted, globalized world.
Okay, well, those two comments, helping the middle class and helping small businesses succeed, those are put to the lie by the story that was broken in the Globe and Mail today. Now, it's not a Globe exclusive because this was talked about at the Finance Committee almost 2 weeks ago. Nobody noticed. Of course, the Retail Council of Canada didn't do a great job putting the story out there. But the bottom line is that we are going to see, unless something changes, we are going to see in this country your employee discount taxed as a taxable benefit. That's right. So you work at Timmy's. Okay, you can have a free coffee, you can have a sandwich, or you get a 20% discount on your sandwich. No, now we've got to track that every shift, every day, all year. We've got to track everything. Carl Littler, the vice president of the Retail Council of Canada, raised this issue and said he just doesn't understand what the government is thinking.
So why would the government want to abandon its long-standing practice and start to tax a store employee for a 20% discount on a pair of jeans, or a restaurant worker coming off shift for a meal at the end of the night?
Valid question. Valid question, but I suspect it has something to do with fairness, right? Because that's what we're told on the small business tax changes. It's got to be about fairness. So right now, if you get a discount, whether you're working at Loblaws, The Gap, McDonald's, you get a discount and it's just considered a perk of the job. Well, under this new plan, it will be considered taxable income. And Littler says this is going to have a major impact on the ability of retail, of restaurants, of the hospitality industry, of the travel industry to keep employees in areas where they have high turnover.
But mainly, our concern is with our employee impact. In an industry with low margins but high turnover, these employee discounts are one way to provide a small reward to employees and to engender staff loyalty and attachment to the workplace. We can't help but think that there are other issues of far greater concern than capturing employee discounts in the income tax system.
I remember when my kids were little, they were dressed in Gap all the time. Not because I was out buying them Gap clothes. We couldn't afford Gap clothes for kids. There were 4 kids, 4 toddlers. But they had an aunt that worked at the Gap, and she loved buying the kids clothes. She didn't have any kids of her own at the time. Things have since changed. But she got a staff discount, and she loved buying Gap clothes for all their nieces and nephews. It was the best part of the job for her. This is going to be taken away. Pierre Poilievre is the conservative finance critic. He was on with Rob Snow on News and Views earlier today.
Justin Trudeau is running out of other people's money, and he has sent the signal to the tax collectors to go find more of it. The last 2 months, he's been claiming that our local businesses and family farmers are tax cheats who deserve to pay more. And now he's going after waitresses and storefront clerks by taxing the small discounts that they get as part of their jobs.
I hate to give you indigestion after your turkey if you're having Thanksgiving dinner today, but this story's been talked about and shared widely already. It is truly unbelievable that when we've got companies like Bombardier literally getting billions of dollars from the government, and I hate to keep going back to the government, but they've received billions of dollars in handouts, but they want to come after you for your 20% off on the price of a pair of jeans or your staff discount on your meal at the end of the restaurant. Aaron Woodruck from the Canadian Taxpayers Federation was also on with Rob and pointed out that this is going to be a huge administrative headache and may cost more than it brings in.
They're treated as if you were given cash in hand, and you have to pay tax accordingly on it. So, and it just speaks to the silliness. I mean, first of all, set aside, whether this is a high priority. I think there's a fair question about whether or not it's going to actually cost more to enforce this new rule than the money they'll actually get from it. So it's a waste of money on top of all that.
Think of every small business. Remember, what did Justin Trudeau say off the top? That was from the very same day, I believe, that this was discussed at the Finance Committee. What did he say his priority was?
At the core of this government is a promise to support the middle class and those working hard to join it, to help small businesses succeed in an increasingly disrupted, globalized world.
He says he is there to help government succeed, or to help small business succeed and help those in the middle class and those working hard to join it. How much of a headache is this going to be for people who run small businesses and want to give their discount? What's going to happen? They're actually just going to do away with it. They're just going to do away with it completely. That is it. That is all. There will be no more employee discounts if this is not stopped. But don't worry, Justin Trudeau is there for the middle class and those working hard to join it. Now, I want to bring up something else, and many of you that live in the Ottawa area, you work in the civil service, you know that you get language training as part of your job. Do you know that that could be considered a taxable benefit if this goes through? Consider the people that I know that have been on language training for 6 months, a year, some 2 years. Yeah, I've known a couple people that have gone away cumulatively over a period of time for 2 years' worth of language training. Well, that's just a perk of the job. If they're going to go after staff discounts, and we believe in fairness in this country, don't we have to go after your language training? If we believe in fairness in this country, don't we have to change the pension rules because civil servants get a better pension than everybody else? So we all either get moved up to your pension or you have yours taken away? Now, the Liberals are trying to claim that this comes from the civil servants and not from them. I don't care where it comes from. It is a bad idea that should be shot down, but something tells me that won't happen. Because they knew about this 2 weeks ago, and as far as I can tell, they haven't stopped it yet. Doesn't mean this idea can't be stopped. Doesn't mean that at all. Remember, a little while ago, they talked about taxing everybody's health and dental benefits. And eventually, after public outcry, a lot of it from civil servants, they walked away. But this is going to affect anybody that works a frontline job. That little discount you get, whether it's on your meal or your clothing or your groceries, it will disappear because it will be too much of a headache for your employer to have to track it for you and then for you to have to pay taxes on it. It makes zero sense. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Beyond the News at CFRA.com, Beyond the News at CFRA.com. My apologies. There was an audio problem with the Facebook Live, but stay tuned. We may do this again later on in the program. We'll get the audio fixed. You can also hear the whole program, of course, at CFRA.com or download the iHeartRadio app. Always free, Apple or Android. I'm Brian Lilly. This is Beyond the News.